Hi everyone, I hope you guys are all well. I want to apologise for my appearance straight off the mark. I woke up mega early this morning in excruciating pain, and I can't really move my right arm right now. I either woke up because I slept funny, or I've trapped a nerve in my back, but every time I kind of try to move my right arm, I get real bad pain. So I'm like, oh my god, if this just has to happen at bank holiday weekend, doesn't it? And also outside, can't decide, the weather can't decide if the sun's coming out or if it's going to chuck it down with rain. So I've had to turn the lights on in order to get some lighting for this video. So because I was up mega early, I managed to finish the rest of the book that I've been reading. But before I get onto that, I just want to talk about a couple of things. I've been away for a couple of weeks. I suddenly had, when I went to start reading Perfume 2 weeks ago, I just suddenly had this feeling like, I really don't want to read. I want to do something else. So I took a week off, and I had been binge watching box sets. I binge watched Outlander. Now, I read the first Outlander book about 6 years ago because my sister wanted me to read it, and I wasn't that fond of it at all, and so never went near the TV show. But I was like, I really want to watch a period drama that I haven't watched before, you know, do something new for lockdown. And HMV had the series 1 to 4 box set for like £35 or something. So I was like, right, I'm going to get that. I'm going to watch it, and I fell head over heels in love with it. I'm actually listening to the audiobook of Outlander, the first book, at the moment on Audible while I've been working this week. And yeah, the way I felt about the book when I read it 6 years ago, I'm still feeling listening to the audiobook, but the audiobook is not too bad. I have some irks with the audiobook, but it's not too bad. But yeah, so I fell in love with Outlander. I had been watching theatre stuff, and this week's National Theatre production streaming of Streetcar Named Desire with Gillian Anderson, oh my god, was absolutely stunning. Vanessa Kirby and Gillian Anderson and it's Ben Shepherd. Oh gosh, I've forgotten his name. I'm so sorry. I'll put it in the description. They are all absolutely phenomenal in it, but especially Gillian. I mean, I thought she couldn't top her Miss Havisham. Her Miss Havisham in Great Expectations is my favourite role that she's ever done, and this Stella came very close. It may even topped it. They are my joint first place for her performances. So check it out. It's absolutely amazing. And as usual, if you don't like it, you haven't paid for anything because it's streaming free on YouTube. So yeah, why not give it a go and see if you like it. But anyway, yes, I'm going to talk about Perfume by Patrick Suskind. Sorry. So, as I said, it's taken me 2 weeks to read this, even though it's only 262 pages. And those 262 pages, very weirdly, has 51 chapters. I find it really odd when a short book has lots and lots of chapters. Saying that, because I was actually finding it really difficult to read, and I'll explain why in a minute, I actually downloaded the audiobook off Audible yesterday. Oh no, that's read by Ben Shepherd. That's why I got the name Ben Shepherd on my brain. Weirdly, the audiobook has 92 chapters. I don't know why. Again, the audiobook has nearly twice as many chapters than the actual book, and the actual book is only 262 pages and has 51 chapters. Where's the logic in that? I have no idea. But anyway, the audiobook, just so you know, I thought it was okay. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the best audiobook either. I've returned it because I know that I won't listen to it again. But it got me through the rest of this book. So what is this book about? So this book, Perfume, the story of a murder, follows Jean-Baptiste Grenet. That's how you pronounce it, because I was having trouble with oh no, sorry, Grenouille, because it's, yeah, I-double-L, yeah, it's Grenouille, who is, at the beginning of the book, you witness his birth and everything in Paris, and he is born with an incredible sense of smell. His scent is heightened, and so he gets kind of obsessed with the sense of things around him and works for a guy who creates various perfumes. And one day he encounters a woman with a complete unique scent who he obsesses over, which leads him to realize that when a person is kind of like murdered, after a while their scent disappears. So he goes on this mission to collect these various scents of people right before they die in order to capture their scent and make the ultimate perfume of love. And that's what the story is about. So the actual book, I found this so hard to read, like ridiculously hard to read, even though it's a really quite a short book. And the reason why is because of the tone. The way that it is written is so harsh. Now, you know that I don't mind deep, dark story. Like, I love Irvine Welsh, and he goes to the deepest, darkest places. This takes the reality of the 18th century and gives it this creepy aura, which kind of that kind of period has, but it actually puts it at a level of reality and grit and gunge and disgustingness that actually made me feel a bit sick. So because it's all about scent and, you know, and obsession with smell, he describes the smell of absolutely every little thing you can think of in order for you to get the area where you are. And the fact that the actual birth of John Baptiste, because his mother works in a fish market and she's gutting fish and describes the smell of the intestines and all this lot, and how she gives birth standing up and he kind of falls onto guts of fish and maggots and the dung that lines the street and the hay and oh god, it made my stomach turn. I didn't like it. But it sets the tone, the really dark tone, which as a reader and, you know, looking from a writing perspective, is a good way of using sense, is always a good way of reflecting a world, a scene, etc. But at the same time, it kind of felt like, this is overload. I can't breathe fresh air. I literally was like, I couldn't capture the air, the breath, because of the sense that he's throwing at you in every single sentence of what is going on. I mean, it was absolutely disgusting to read, but then it is kind of real to the time period. So yeah, it's just, yeah, talking about his mother is disgusting. Basically, she's murdered all of her children, and he's the fifth child. And it said she had affected all the others here at the fish booth, and all had been stillbirths or semi-stillbirths from the bloody meat that emerged had not differed gently from the fish guts that lay there already, nor had lived much longer, and by evening the whole mess had been shovelled away and carted off to the graveyard or down the river. And that's page 5. Like, I honest to God felt sick the whole time that I read this book because of how atmospheric he makes this, how disgusting he makes this. And you can't, but it's very clever, because when you're following Jean Baptiste and he meets this woman who has this unique scent, you kind of, it does feel like you're suddenly taking a breath of fresh air. And you're going, oh my God, that's intoxicating. And you can understand and get into the brain of Jean Baptiste. So even though this book made me feel absolutely sick to my stomach, I totally get why. And it totally made sense. And it's very, very clever technique. The actual structure of the story, it worked and it didn't work for me. there at times I kind of felt like, right, okay, I understand we have to understand his childhood and everything, and then we have to him go into training, and then that leads to XYZ. But then at the same time, I was thinking, like, can you just cut out that section or reduce this section to a much slimmer amount rather than having to describe every single little thing, every single little sense, so I can just get through it. It was very disgusting with what he does with his victims, let me put it that way. But at the same time, it's a book that I won't forget reading. So it's kind of done its purpose. It is so sinister, and it is so bleak, and it is so disgusting. It tells of the most disgusting sides of life, but at the same time it also shines a light on beauties of life and the way in which we see things. So yeah, I really do not know how I feel about this book. Okay, the key questions I always do. Would I read this again? Probably not. I probably won't. Would I read more of his work? I'm not running out to buy any more of his books, but if I were to come across one, maybe pick one up, see if it has a different style, because of the particular focus on this is the scent of smell. I wonder what the tones and the other key elements of his other books would be. Would I recommend this? Only if the person I was recommending it to had a strong stomach and is really into dark, twisted craziness. But it's that thing that it's so twisted, and yet it's so atmospheric, and in a way you could say has a kind of eroticism. It's just a bizarre blending of the disgusting elements of life with the beauty of life in this strange story with an ending which I felt kind of was justified kind of ending, but then if you just isolate the ending, it's like, yeah, that's really fucked up. I'm sorry. That is how can that make me feel happy for the character when you isolate it, but at the same time you kind of go, well, yeah, because what else was he going to do? It's one of the most bizarre pieces of fiction I have ever read. It is, yeah, ferociously absorbing, says the Observer. Fantastic tale of murder and twisted eroticism, controlled with a disgusting loathing for humanity. Clever, stylish, absorbing, and well worth reading. I'd have to agree. It's the disgusting loathing of humanity, and it produces this most bizarre, chilling story, which is going to stay with me for a while. So, I think overall, I need to say that it didn't work for me. As I said, it made me feel sick. But as a constructive piece, it is very, very clever. And I can understand why it's a modern classic, how it uses a technique at its most heightened degree, which levels with the heightened abilities that this character has with his sense, which then leads him to do what he does. So from a writing perspective, it is so interesting and really quite spectacular. But I don't think I could read it again, or at least not for that. It kind of feels like how I felt after The Handmaid's Tale. I'm like, right, I need to put that down. I need to walk away. I need to not go to that world for quite a significant amount of time. And then we'll see how I feel later down the road. But I don't think I would read it again, but I'm glad that I have read it. But yeah, as I said, I listened to the audiobook to be able to finish this because I was finding it so difficult to pick it up given what it's like, but I was like, yeah, the audiobook's not too bad, but it's not my favorite in the world either, and it has, as I said, 92 chapters when it really doesn't need to be. There was a film in 2006 that I looked up. I cannot find it anywhere unless I buy a copy, and I only finished this morning, so I haven't had a chance to look at it. But I'm doing this video now rather than like tomorrow or whatever, because I just want to get it out of the way in case my back, my arm's not feeling any better, and so at least this is done. So yeah, hopefully I'm going to feel a bit better tomorrow. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Perfume, the Story of a Murder by Patrick Suskind. Have you read this book? I'd love to know what you think. You can leave me a comment in the comments box below, or give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, entirely up to you decide. And the next book I'll be reading, which I've already announced, is Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. So I will be back with my thoughts on that. Hopefully it won't take too long to read. I'm feeling, I think now that Perfume is done, I'm feeling better to go back into reading. It was just because of what this book was that just really put me off. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading again, and yeah, hopefully I'll feel better soon. But I'll be back with you guys as soon as I can. All right, guys, bye.